we've had lots of people this morning saying it's amazing that Trump has done this. He's the favourite to win, and he should win, and rightly so. What an achievement. That's Tony on Twitter. Stacey, I hope he wins. He deserves it. He's managed to get a country together that, up till now, has had huge divisions and start the process, we'd like to think, of denuclearisation in Korea. That in itself has to be a step towards peace.
Well, I think the first thing I'd say is that I think credit where credit's due, and bringing North and South Korean leaders around a table is progress. But the point about North Korean nuclear disarmament is it hasn't happened yet. And actually, North Korea has said it will disarm its nuclear facilities if the US carries out so far unspecified reciprocal acts. So it's very preemptive to assume that that will actually take place. And
Barack Obama got the award.
Well,
and he
I
even
was
held
going
his
to
hands
say
up and
that.
said, I don't know why I've been given it. It's not happened yet.
A huge supporter of Barack Obama, but I was critical of the decision to award him the Nobel Prize. You mentioned Aung San Suu Kyi. I think they would like to withdraw it from her now if they could, and it's a reminder that actually you have to think about the long-term trajectory of the nominees. And Trump, while he is doing, it seems, potentially good work in North Korea, has caused unprecedented division in the US. Just this week, we saw him mocking the woman who was brave enough to come forward with her allegation of sexual abuse against his judicial nominee. He's been made overtly racist statements against African Americans, against Mexicans. He is leading an administration that terrifies many women in America because of his personal track record and also things he said in office. So the idea that this is someone who is a force for peace and good in the world, I frankly think it's insulting.
Well, Ben Ferguson, is it insulting? Why do you think he should get it?
Yeah, that was a nice diatribe on exactly what I expected, which is people that don't like Donald Trump cannot see past their total disdain for Donald Trump and realize what's actually happening with North Korea. I mean, look at what this president's been able to do with just North and South Korea actually talking to one another, ratcheting down the brink of war between those two areas, seeing those two leaders be in the same car together, meet together, eat together. And clearly, the president of the United States of America understands something that many people that hate Donald Trump don't understand, which is that it's important to have peace, and it's important to have peace with somebody that is a big threat to the world. Barack Obama said to Donald Trump the day he was inaugurated, the biggest threat to the world right now is North Korea. And clearly that was taken to heart by Donald Trump, and he has tried multiple different ways to deal with them. Clearly he seems to be on a path. He wants there to be peace. He wants there to be denuclearized, and he wants it to be a safe place there and around the world. So if you hate the president because you don't like Donald Trump, and that's why you don't want to give him a peace prize, I would say, look at your motives. I mean, why are you so obsessed
but you say
with
he
not
wants
giving credit to
and
Donald Trump?
he appears to be on a path to peace. But surely the Nobel Peace Prize should be when it's been achieved. Is it a bit early to give it to him?
It hasn't historically. Yeah, well, it hasn't historically. I mean, remember, Barack Obama won an election, they gave him the Peace Prize, and then he actually ratcheted up the attacks in Iraq and Afghanistan, which I think against terrorists is totally fine, but people were shocked that he actually did that. I mean, there's been many people that have received the Nobel Peace Prize before they accomplished success in the area that they were going towards.
Or equally, Ben, as Afua was saying, Aung San Suu Kyi, equally, as Afua was saying, Aung San Suu Kyi, who they have looked to try and strip her of the prize because what she went on to do actually was abhorrent against the notion of the Nobel Peace Prize.
Yeah, and I think what the president's trying to do with North Korea is clearly nowhere close to the same comparison there. So I would say this, if you're looking for the person in the last 365 days who has done the most for peace in the world, clearly North Korea and what Donald Trump has been able to do and thaw out those relationships, not just with America, but with South Korea and other parts of that part of the world that were on edge for months on end, years, decades on end, actually. You got to give the guy some credit.
Let's put that to Afua.
Well, I'm laughing because Ben said that Trump brought us back from the brink of nuclear confrontation in North Korea. Who took us to the brink? He was the one making incredibly inflammatory and provocative comments.
So, to be fair to him, a lot of them were in reaction to the North Korean leaders'
if you want to de-escalate a crisis...
Shooting missiles that could reach the United States.
It was widely...
I mean, you have to deal with the facts.
At the time, I think it's easy to forget how scary that moment was where
but
he
then what
ratcheted
President
up
Trump's
the rhetoric.
supporters would say is that he ratcheted up the rhetoric and then delivered an actual conversation and potentially
if Trump is awarded the Nobel Prize, and Ben said that it's just because I don't like Trump. Nothing in the case I made against him was personal. I didn't mention my personal feelings once. I mentioned a litany of things
it was personal.
he has said and done in office, none of which you denied, by the way, I noticed.
You don't like Donald Trump.
None of which you denied, because they're facts. And this would set a new path to winning Nobel Prize.
Let's deal with
ratchet up
Kavanaugh,
the
what you said.
rhetoric, create confrontation with the nuclear power, and then take steps to de-escalate the crisis, and suddenly you're worthy of a Nobel Prize. I mean, anyone could do that. It sends a message to leaders around the world.
Diplomacy,
provoke confrontation so that you can show that you step back.
Let me respond to that.
And hey presto.
Okay, one last word for you then, Ben.
Yeah. Well, welcome to the difference between being a Monday morning quarterback and actually being a world leader. World leaders have to see what works to get the attention of other people. And it was very clear that Kim Jong-un, the president, had to let him know that there could be real consequences that he had never seen from the last two presidents of the United States of America. And so when he ratcheted up his rhetoric, it clearly got his attention. And he actually realized that he might actually lose out on something. So it brought him to the negotiating table. And that clearly strategy works. So if you're criticizing the president for having a strategy that's gotten the leader to come to the table, which the last two presidents and other world leaders have not been able to do the entire time he was also building a nuclear program and interballistic missiles that could hit you and anybody else in the world, I would say, again, stop looking at your individual hatred towards Trump and realize that the president accomplished something here that other world leaders couldn't do.
It will be fascinating to see what happens. We appreciate you both coming in and sharing your thoughts.